New York locked up Julius Randle with a long-term deal, brought in Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. And among Chicago's big ads, they grabbed DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo Ball. Chris, which team will be able to contend faster in the East?
How about neither?
Oh, wow.
I mean, what? Contend for a playoff spot?
There goes that moonwalk on the fence.
The way the question's asked, contend in the East. Look, both of them had nice off-seasons, I'm sorry. Cute off-seasons.
Cute.
All right, I like Lonzo in Chicago. I like him next to Zach LaVine. With Zach being able to shoot, with Lonzo being able to shoot, with Nick Vucevic being able to shoot, I like DeMar DeRozan in there. He's a veteran. His mid-range game and slashing can fit because they got shooters around him. So they made an improvement. All right, but they'll be doing well to make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, it was a good season. Let's not even talk about contending, please. All right, and the Knicks, good offseason. They got Julius Randle for a very good price. We knew he wasn't going anywhere. They keep Derrick Rose. They want to bring him off the bench, let him be a great sixth man. He was their best player in the playoffs. I like that. Evan Fournier, we've seen even in Olympic competition that he can ball. I like Evan Fournier. Like, he's a legit baller. Kemba can play. Now, there's a question mark just because of the knee. You know, hopefully the knee can withstand. Let's assume that he's healthy and he can play. That's a good get. But again, making the playoffs would be good for them. I think they'll make the playoffs. As far as next season, making the playoffs, I like the Knicks better than the Bulls because Tom Thibodeau maximizes the regular season. He gets the most out of his team, all right? They're not going to do anything in the playoffs, but this team could win a good number of games. They won't be the fourth seed, so they're going to drop in the seeding, but they will win games. I believe that. But come on. I mean, I could say the same thing about the Knicks that I could say about every other sorry or mediocre team out there. They need a superstar. They need a superstar. So, yeah, whichever team can get that superstar in free agency, that's who's going to be able to contend in the East the quickest. Now, maybe the Chicago, does Lonzo Ball take another step? Do people start looking at Chicago as, oh, they one guy away. If I go there, I can get us to contention. Or does a guy look at New York like that? But as they're currently constituted, I can't believe either of you is going to say that one of these teams is close to contention.
You saw what he just did. Did you just see what he just did before he turned over the microphone?
Seldom right and wrong again.
Holy moly, Chris Broussard. Your debate techniques are very questionable at best, the way you set it up. You set us up not to be able to have a way to win against your crushing logic took place.
That's actually a good technique.
Okay.
That's actually a good technique.
All right. Go ahead. You want it, J-Mac, or do you want?
Chris, I'm going to take you back one calendar year, okay? Look before last season happened. Did anyone on planet Earth who watches basketball say, you know what, the Hawks, they can contend. They can get to the conference finals. Nobody had that. Not one person. Did anybody? A lot of people said, oh, the Suns got better with Chris Paul. But nobody would have thought the Suns are going to contend and get to the NBA Finals. Chris, the NBA is such a weird animal. Things happen. The Portland Trailblazers were in the conference finals a couple years ago. Every year, somebody makes a quantum leap. I don't know if it's the Bulls or the Knicks, but I would tell you this. The Chicago Bulls had such a good offseason. Yes, they probably gave DeMar DeRozan too much money, but they are such a deep team. They're flexible. You know, by the way, DeMar DeRozan, I know he's taken a lot of shots from people on this show, Chris Broussard. DeMar DeRozan got unlocked last year as a playmaker. Career high, 6.9 assists per game. He's not just a mid-range guy, which you keep denigrating him as. He is now a playmaker. And guess what? Lonzo Ball is going to fit great defensively. Alex Caruso, the White Shadow, he is a great pickup. This is a Chicago Bulls team. I don't know if they can make the Hawks leap to the conference finals, but I'm telling you, what I've seen from Zach LaVine... No, I'm not done. Zach LaVine in the Olympics, this guy's really... He's around some of the best players in the league. I saw a crazy stat. Zach LaVine, this is the first 4-game winning streak he's had with the Olympic team dating back to UCLA. That's how many bad teams he's been on in the NBA, okay? Zach LaVine raising his level. This is a Bulls team that's dangerous. I like what the Knicks did. They're flexible. I think they get in the Dame Lillard sweepstakes. But for you to say neither of these are a contender is just blasphemous, okay? We're talking about an Atlanta Hawks team that made the conference finals, beating the #1 seed in Game 7 on the road. Why can't Chicago make the leap? Why not? LeVar, why not? Why not the Knicks?
They're not as good as Milwaukee and It's going to have to be a lot of injuries.
The Eastern side,
like this year.
The Eastern side is way more turbulent, way more volatile than the Western side. Now, if you look at the Eastern side and you say the last NBA Finals that the Lakers won, Broussard, would you have said that the Miami Heat are a contender, a true contender? Yay, nay? Yay, nay? Did you have them in the finals?
No.
Do they have a bona fide superstar on that roster that year?
I told you, LeVar, there was pixie dust in that bubble.
All right, well.
There were flying leprechauns
and you know what's
Lucky
crazy
Charms
about,
and all types of
I
madness
totally
going
went with you on the pixie dust, and I was supportive of it, and I'm going to use that pixie dust line right now. There's still pixie dust floating around in the Eastern Conference, and that's why Milwaukee was able to make it to the finals and win the finals. It's because that pixie dust hasn't fully worn off yet. So, to me, when I look at these teams, I look at the Knicks and I say the Knicks have the best opportunity to be that team that can be competitive in the pixie dust era of the Eastern Conference situation. So, to me, you look at the additions. Maybe Randall hasn't transitioned into being a superstar, but he has at least shown the potential that he can. He's got great resume. He's got a great DNA connected to him. Had an opportunity to learn from one of the greatest in the game, and it translated. It actually translated with most all of the guys that left the Lakers that year. It translated in different places. So I believe Randall takes another step forward in being a dominant player in this NBA league. I think adding Fournier, did I say it right? Fournier? Yeah, you know, I'm not great with names.
Fournier.
I think he's a class to add to them to bring another element and another level of ability. And if Kemba Walker is healthy, and you got to say, because it is the preseason or it is the offseason, if Kemba Walker can come in and be anywhere near what he has been when he's healthy and not a shell of him former self, this team really, to me, matches up well with the crust of the Eastern Conference. So you got to look at them there. I think there are too many question marks to actually say I'm going to be bullish about the Bulls. But when you look at the Knicks and what they were able to do, and even how competitive they were in the playoffs, that was more of a heartbreaker that they didn't get out of that series with the Hawks. It wasn't man, I'm just happy they were here. I did not see it as it being the Hawks dominated the Knicks. I think Trae Young showed some real moxie. I think he did really well, but I thought it was a competitive series that at one point in time could have gone either way. And maybe they're one player away from being that team that could have possibly taken the Hawks to the last game and won, or whatever it may have been. But I think the Knicks have the highest upside here to be a contender with what the offseason held for them this year.
LeVar, the Hawks beat them in 5.
They beat them in 5.
Right. Trae Young went and took the Garden over from Julius Randle. Julius Randle struggled. Julius Randle, I was concerned. I had concern after watching. I put him on second-team All-NBA, so I like Julius Randle, but I got concerns after seeing him in that playoff series. Derrick Rose was their best player.
Well, he had no help.
And so, no, they weren't close. And look, you compared them. I don't know if this was a Freudian slip, if that's the right way to use it.
Ahead.
You said they match up well with the crust of the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
The crust is the bottom. All right, they match up. I'll give you that. They match up well with the bottom.
The crust
They
covers
don't match up well with Brooklyn.
You do know the crust covers
They don't
the top
match up
of the
well
pie
with
as well.
Brooklyn.
Crust was I thought upper crust was
I mean,
positive.
I don't know how
I
you
don't know
living
how
in your
y'all
life,
making
but
crust out
crust
there
is considered an elite
Pittsburgh.
term. That's an elitist term. I don't know. We'll talk about
Upper
it off
crust.
air. Well,
upper crust.
I didn't
You
have to
left out
say, well, if you're upper crust, you don't have to
But Chris,
use
you still
upper.
haven't addressed his Miami Heat made the finals, Atlanta Hawks made the conference finals, and nobody thought that either of those teams were ready to contend. Let's hear your defense of that one. Good luck.
Good luck.
Well, injuries last year. Injuries. I mean, y'all sat here and dogged. Y'all sat here and dogged the Milwaukee Bucks because they beat a banged up Brooklyn